Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Taylor and this is the second video of Coding for Tacos, a channel where I talk about how I code to make dollars, which I can then change into pesos, which I can use to buy tacos, right? You can buy quite a few tacos with a bonito like this. No, but really, in all seriousness, on this channel, I'm going to be talking about freelancing remotely, web development, WordPress development, and learning to code, of course. So stick around, I've got a lot of good content coming up. Today, I want to talk about WordPress development on Windows and whether or not that is possible. The short answer is yes. Yes, it is absolutely possible. But let me explain a little bit.
What is today? You know what it is! It's Taco Tuesday!
So I wanted to make this video because when I was first starting to learn to code, I kind of felt like, well, everyone uses a Mac. Like I only have a Windows computer. Is that going to be okay? You know, can I code with it? Now, I know, I'll admit, a lot of the web development industry does use Mac, and a lot of developers are hardcore Mac fans. I'm not here to bash those computers. They're very nice, they're good for development. One might say they're better than a Windows computer. But what I'm trying to say here is that you can absolutely use a Windows computer for development, and you won't be held back because of it. Not everyone can afford a MacBook Pro, and even if you can, maybe you don't feel like you need to. Maybe the value that you're getting for the price just doesn't make sense. But I will say this about a Windows computer. It should be relatively new, meaning it would be ideal to have at least 8 gigabytes of RAM and at least probably a later generation Intel i5 processor or the equivalent AMD processor. But with 8 gigabytes of RAM and an i5, you should be totally fine. That is what my Acer laptop had, and I recently upgraded to a Lenovo, which has 16 gigs of RAM and it has an i7. And to me, it feels fast. I haven't run into any, Windows specific problems while doing WordPress development or, development in general. And if you're learning to code and you have a Windows computer, or you're starting your business and you want to buy an affordable computer, go for it. Windows will totally be fine for you. Now, by now, I know you're like, okay, Taylor, I get it. You can develop on Windows too. It works. You can make some taco money with Windows. But fine, I get it. But let me tell you, for WordPress development, there are basically three things. There are all kinds of tools, but there are basically three tools that you need for WordPress development on your local computer. And that is you need a server. You need to be able to run a local server on your computer. You obviously need a code editor, and you need a terminal, right? The built-in Windows terminal is really not very good. So let me quickly show you those three things in the opposite order, actually. As you may notice, I decided to put on my handy dandy and very sleek looking headset. You need three things, right? You need a code editor, you need Git Bash and Git, and you need a local server, a way to host your local copy of a WordPress website. Let me get out of the way here. This is where you can find those three things. First is Git Bash, and you can get that here, git-scm.com, download win. And if you can't find it, by the way, I'll leave a link in the description, but you could also just Google this, how to install Git Bash on Windows. And let me show you what it looks like. So I have it installed already, and I'll click Git Bash here. And this is what it looks like. This is the logo. So for example, if I want to see what is in my desktop, I can see all the directories. If I go into change directories into work stuff, I can then see everything I have in there. And let me go into one actually. So I'll go into the portfolio redesign, and then I'll look and see what I got there. And I will change directories one more time into my Gatsby project. So this is mostly important because you need to have Git. You need to be using version control as a web developer, but it also works really well with Visual Studio Code. I'll hit enter here, and it opens the project for me. A cool thing about this editor, Visual Studio Code, is that it has a built-in terminal. I've installed Bash, but this terminal will also work just fine. And for example, I can do the same command and I can see what is in that folder. So that's the first thing you need to have. The second thing you need is a code editor, and I'm recommending this one that we just saw, Visual Studio Code, built by Microsoft. I love it for a lot of reasons, and it's good to go. It will work very well with Windows since it was built by Microsoft. All right, and for the local server, my next video, my next 4 videos, I'll go over how to install and set up all 4 of the main options for Windows for local servers that you can use for WordPress development. But I'm recommending Local by Flywheel as the first one because it's the most straightforward. If your PC is a little older, this one might be a little heavier and slower, but it shouldn't be a problem, and they're making it better all the time. I've noticed that it's a lot faster now than it used to be. But this one is very simple. It's as simple as installing it, clicking a new site. There's a button on the program, and it says new site. You click new site, and it will download WordPress and set everything up for you. So it's really nice and easy. And yeah, those are the 3 things. You need Git Bash. I would recommend Visual Studio Code, and I'd recommend Local by Flywheel. That's really all I've got for today. Thank you for watching. Like I mentioned, my next 4 videos will be how to use the most popular options for a local server, which are Local by Flywheel, XAMPP or XAMPP, WAMP, and MAMP. A lot of people are also using things like Docker these days and Vagrant, but I'm just going to be talking about the first 4 that I mentioned. I'll have videos on those and how to get those set up and running. It was a little scary for me at first, setting each of these up and working with them, but it really doesn't have to be that complicated for most people, and it's not scary at all, databases and servers, but it's pretty much as simple as downloading them, knowing where to find things and basically what buttons to click. So stick around if you're interested in WordPress development on Windows. My personal favorite option at the moment is WAMP server. Seems to run the fastest for me, and it's very lightweight, which I like. But yeah, don't forget to be eating your tacos. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Hit the dislike button if you didn't. But I hope to see you again soon at the channel, and that's it. Peace out.